Welcome to Life and Loans Clear to Close. We're talking real estate and real life, right here on the water. We used to take hundreds of mortgage calls a day sitting in a cubicle. Now we fish, help families buy homes, and still answer our phone. The only difference is the view. Not a bad way to spend Veterans Day morning, huh?
Not bad at all. Nice and early.
Yeah. Couldn't do this back in the day when you're working for the man at the call center, right?
Yeah.
You had to schedule your PTO like 6 months in advance.
Yeah, and then leading up to it, just be anxious about not being there.
Yeah, and then worry that your manager wouldn't approve it.
Yeah, or fire you when you get back.
Yeah. Or if your numbers weren't high enough, then you were going to get fired next month.
Yeah, constantly on edge. I miss it, do you?
No, I don't miss it. But, you know, I think getting your feet wet in those kind of places is probably the best way to get into mortgages.
Yeah, I think so too, because not only learning about how the mortgage process works and everything else, but they cover all your licensing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean,
it's expensive.
It's expensive, and it's a lot. It's like there's a lot that goes into getting licensed, and if you're just reading a book and doing it on your own, imagine how much more difficult that would be.
Yeah,
it's sitting in a classroom and actually learning hands-on.
Yeah, and you had a good teacher.
I did, the best.
Yeah, man. When I think about going from scratch, from people that came from all different types of sales backgrounds, and then in 90 days, take that person, get them licensed, and get them on the phone. Like, get licensed, learn mortgage, enough that you can at least just talk about it. And then to be on the phone is kind of crazy. But if you really think about now compared to having so many products at your disposal, in those kind of places, you just really had to learn a couple. You just really had to learn conventional loans, FHA, VA, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was just refis.
Right.
So it was more about learning the nuances of getting approvals done, like for people's income. I remember that I wouldn't even let you guys do self-employed.
Right.
I'd tell you that if they were self-employed, get off the phone.
Yeah.
Because it's having a new person take an application for somebody who's self-employed was never going to work.
Right.
Because you're going to ask them how much money they make, and they're going to tell you, and you're going to put it on the application, and there's a 0% chance that it's accurate. Yeah. I mean, shoot, I'm self-employed now, and I don't know what's on my tax returns. Yeah,
no kidding.
So it's like, no one does.
No, what they think they make and what they actually make are two wildly different things.
And, for me, at that time, with 50 of you guys in the class, like, I would have had to have been the one that go over the income on everybody taking these applications, like, plus managing, like, hey Pete, with every question, like, that was not possible.
No.
So, and also, like, just as a whole, like, as a call center, like, it was under 40% of the loan applications that were actually taken closed. And that was floor wide. So
40%?
Experienced people. Yeah, it was like 34%. So that's with people that actually knew what they were doing. That in ACEs, which you were in, that for new people, I mean, it was such a low percentage of the deals that you actually took in were ones that you could close. And there was so much pressure on you guys to get an application that I'm sure you were just taking whatever you could get and throwing it up against the wall and seeing if it was stuck.
Yeah.
I
didn't learn about actual mortgages until well after my 100th call.
At least, yeah.
Like,
in the beginning, you were just saying, okay, am I getting a credit pull? Remember, that was like my biggest thing for you, is just to, get a credit pull. Yeah. And then if you get a credit pull, I could look at it and tell you if there's anything there or not.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, we weren't even sure what we were looking for.
No.
I was just telling somebody the other day, do you remember at the very end of ACES, like when we were about to go to the sales floor? Or like almost at graduation maybe. We had to be able to get the entire application filled out in under 60 seconds.
Oh man, we would have that, and then I dangled "Leave It Early"
Right.
in front of you, and it's like you just had to get through the whole thing to pull credit.
Yeah.
You had to be able to pull credit in under 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And that system was so difficult to use too.
It was
Nuanced with so many different little
But
quirks.
the cool thing, and this has been the same with like every company really, it didn't let you move forward unless you had all the correct information.
Yeah.
So it would highlight what you needed. So you could just.
Did it highlight it?
I think so.
I don't think it did.
Did it? Didn't.
No, I just
You
think
just
it would,
highlighted
I just
it
think
in
it
my
would
brain.
let you do it. Yeah. Oh, that was so fun. We would do the timer, and then everybody'd be rushing, and then you're all pumped up that you got it.
Yeah.
But that was really good because you had so many things on your mind. The last thing I wanted you to actually have to think about was like, how do I do this? How do I pull their credit?
Yeah.
Because we always wanted to have a two-step type of a call where like you would pull their credit, tell them you'll call them back, then we would structure the loan up.
Yeah.
And then you would call them back and say, hey, Brandon, great news. I can save you $250 a month and blah, blah, blah. And like you would actually have had it figured out ahead of time. Run DU, make sure it qualifies. Like that's the right way to do it. I mean, when you're brand new, how are you on one phone call going to do all those things?
Oh, yeah.
It was impossible. You didn't even know what qualified and what didn't.
Right.
So that was the only way to do it. And again, the blessing is like it was almost like Groundhog's Day. Like every lead was somebody who was on the internet, like Lending Tree or Lower My Bills or somewhere like that, and they clicked on an ad that says they could lower their rate.
Yeah.
So 99% of the phone calls were, I want a lower rate. So it wasn't anything different.
Right. Right.
And really the challenge was learning how to pivot in those situations because, not everybody could get a lower rate and they saw an ad that was probably unrealistic.
Exactly.
Telling them they can get some rate that they probably can't get. And that's honestly like that's one of the things that like I'm so grateful for now that we don't work leads like that. We're not in that side of the business anymore because doing refis, the only way to really get somebody on the phone is by dangling something in front of them. So you typically have to say the rates are super low, that I can save you this much per month, that they'll advertise a rate that has like all these fees on it.
Right.
That's the only way somebody clicks on it.
Exactly.
If you tell what the actual rates are without the fees, nobody's going to click on it. So it's such a dirty game. And then remember like the person would transfer you the call and he was like, okay, I have Steve on the line. He wants to save.
Yeah.
That was what they said every single time.
Yeah, he's ready to save.
He's ready to save.
All right. And then I get him. He's like, where's my free iPad? What?
But, I think around the time when you were learning and getting on the phone, it was, 2015?
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, so rates were low. So pretty much everybody was just looking to get a lower rate.
Right. That was right during Brexit. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So rates were really low during Brexit.
Yeah. And what was really low then?
In the 4s, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because it didn't hit 3s yet. Or maybe it did. Maybe it touched the 3s.
Maybe. A lot of those people were getting 4.75s.
Yeah. But so you had your rate and term refis where they were just getting a lower rate. And then you got your cash outs that were probably not even a quarter of the deals that you would do.
I mean, I feel like we did a lot of FHA cash outs, and the only reason I remember is because remember how we used to go up to 85% LTV?
Yeah. Yep, and then that got taken away because people were abusing it, so FHA shut that down.
Yeah.
You know, one thing though, that we both know in our business, you will always have bad characters.
Right.
You know, it's like it doesn't matter if the rates are at 2%. You're gonna have somebody who's advertising it at 1.
Right. Always.
You know, they're gonna lie. Like that's just how they do it. That's the only way they seem to know how to, get business is by being dishonest. And it's like it's so frustrating because you don't have to do mortgages that way.
Yeah.
But to an extent, to do a crazy amount of mortgages, you almost do. Like you can be successful, which you and I have experienced in our life, is like you can be successful by being honest and upfront, but you're always going to have that one person who's not honest that's stealing your customers.
Yeah. 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 Selling them the dream.
Yeah, you sat there and told them that, if you skip 2 payments, really what's happening is you're getting 2 payments added into your balance. It's going to make your payment a little higher versus making your monthly payment, and then, financing as little as possible. But if you say that, that doesn't sound good. Like, who wants to do that? That doesn't sound appealing. You got to tell them that, oh, you're skipping these 2 months. Now you can use the money for, Christmas and, you blah, 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 blah. Like, you have to kind of build that up. And that's where, like, when you're in a call center, you are a salesman. Like you're a salesperson in that role, right? Like, I don't view myself now as a salesperson anymore because honestly, I'm not selling. I'm not selling anything. I'm telling people the truth. Like, I'm consulting them.
Oh yeah.
Guiding them.
Absolutely.
I'm helping them. I'm not trying to sell them because if it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to be doing it. Like, you know what I mean? It's not even something that I think about. So, but that doesn't work when you have the pressure of working in a call center where, you're listening to the guys around you getting deals and you're pressing.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I need to get one too. And remember, we had a board. You had to put your name on the board and put a tick mark. And, everybody wanted to get their name on the board. Rightly so. But that creates that salesmanship where it's like, I'm just going to leave out this little piece of information.
Yeah.
Because if I tell him that doesn't sound
Yeah, he's
good.
not going to want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where everybody, they become more of a number than a person.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you're not doing the refinance to help them. You're doing it so that you can put your tick on the board.
Yeah. I mean, now it's like, if I have a past client that I'm going to do a refinance for, like, I help them buy their home. I've built a relationship with them. I know their family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, I didn't even do it at the call center, but I would never consider doing something that's going to be in my best interest that wouldn't help them.
I know. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of money to be made in real estate. And, you see that no matter what, that it's like, even with real estate agents, definitely not all of them, but some that, they're going to do things that are in their own best interest because that's how they make money.
Uh-huh.
And I get it. And I mean, there's a lot of money on the line. People are more willing to do that than, if they were just a salary person.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet you if someone was salary and they didn't get commission, they would probably be very honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because who cares, But when you know that your
livelihood's not riding on
it's the difference between feeding your family or whatever. Now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, it's worth me leaving this little piece of information out.
Yeah, which this little piece of information can make a huge difference down the road. Like, for example, the 2 payments, like we talked about it before. It's like you want to do a free loan. Like, okay, maybe the rate covers all of your closing costs, but at the end of the day, you still have to roll in those 2 skipped payments.
Yeah.
You have to roll in the escrows.
Yeah.
Like it's your loan amount is still going to increase kind of by a lot.
By a lot. Yeah, and that's where, like, I can't imagine how some of these guys that we know sleep at night when they're not only selling interest rates that are far higher than, you know, the going rates, but they know that that discrepancy is just not only to go in their pocket, but it's, you know, perpetuating like the huge amount of their balance increase for the customer. So like you're going to try to tell that person to refinance again in 6 months when you just charged them $15,000-$20,000 in closing costs,
Yeah.
and their balance in the next 6 months it's going to go up another $10,000-$15,000, and then in 6 months another, like before you know it, you help somebody a couple times and their balance is 50 grand higher.
Right.
You're like, you know, at what point do you go like, that's not the right thing to do to somebody? Would you do that to your mom? Would you do that to your grandma? Would you tell them, you know, in some cases it makes sense, other times it doesn't make sense? Like, no, I mean, not when you work in these call centers and you know, that's your livelihood.
Yeah, and
you're competing.
Job is on the line constantly.
Yeah.
You're always on the hot seat.
Always.
Like there's no like, okay, I had a great month. Everything's looking good. Next month, let off the gas a little bit. Now all of a sudden you're on a PIP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this business is very much like you're only as good as your last month.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a toxic trait of it, is like,
yeah, because your next month, you know, could be great. It's all about looking forward, not backward.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
I mean, there's enough business out there where you don't have to do those things. But, you know, we've worked with people that have worked in a call center that literally made $1 million, a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, I can think of one that was doing that back in the day and making very little per loan, but he would do that many, where you can still make that kind of money, which is insane. But
it is insane. But what's the trade-off with that too? Like,
that guy was working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week,
sleeping in the office, like
sleeping at the office. Like that's insane. But I get the motivation. I mean, that's cool to be motivated.
Yeah.
You know, but are you doing that, but also operating at the highest ethical standards? That I would really respect.
You're right.
And do you have a family?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a wife? Do you have a kid? If you do, I don't respect that then.
Yeah,
because I can guarantee you one thing, and you know this as a dad too, your kids would much rather have you than your money. They would rather you take them to the park. They'd rather you go play with them. They'd rather you spend time with them and not work an extra couple hours.
Yeah.
They could care 100%. Less about that.
Yeah. They, in the moment, they like the toys and all these different things. But at the end of the day, when they have the most fun, and they are enjoying themselves the most, is when we're being active together somewhere. Like at the park.
Yeah, you're at the park, you're playing with them. I mean, it's like
practice or whatever it is.
That's they want your time. And your time is your most valuable commodity that you have, you know.
Yeah.
You see it as we get older. I mean, it's crazy to think we've known each other for almost 10 years now. I literally remember when we first met and like how much our lives have changed.
Oh man.
You know, and going independent, being a broker and being a contractor and having total control over my life now has allowed me to do things like this. It's Tuesday morning and we're here floating around on the boat and we're working.
Yeah.
Because we're building our own personal brand. We're not trying to build a brand or some big national company. They could care less about you as a person. It's like, I want a customer to know who I am.
Yeah.
And what I'm all about. That's what matters.
Exactly.
You know.
And then they're more of like a, you know, again, they're more like family, because if they have any financial question, I want to be the first person that they think of.
Yep.
I'm always going to be a resource. It's not like, okay, here, we're done. We did your refinance. Go on.
That's it.
It's like, no, you did your refinance. Congratulations. Like, how's everything else going? Like, how are the kids' soccer games? Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's everything is relationship based now versus transactional. And I mean, there's nothing better. Like, you're constantly helping a friend.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm building friendships with, and that's what, I mean, it's why it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Now. You know, when you're taking calls in the call center, how enjoyable is it when you know, have no relationship with the person? It's not that enjoyable.
Right.
You know, you're just doing it, going through the motions of doing it.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. 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 And the people that you might start to build somewhat of a relationship with in the 30-minute call that you're on, that's burned up once they get through processing and underwriting.
Oh yeah, and the next loan officer that calls them, who offers them a lower rate, that relationship is like right out the window.
Yeah,
They don't
no.
care, Like I just this week, I'm always humbled when this happens, but like I've done 2 loans for this family in the last 2 years, their purchase and then their refinance. And over the weekend, I get a text message that their daughter is engaged and they want to get pre-qualified to buy a home. Like the fact that he thought about me, I've been to their house for dinner before, and it's like I've built actually a friendship and relationship with these people,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna help their children
Exactly.
get a loan. Like that's exciting,
Yeah.
Don't mind the gunshots. We're in Arizona.
Yep. Normal out here. But yeah, what do you think is the biggest difference between your schedule now or your time?
When I worked, I'll just be honest, when I worked at the companies where I was stuck at my desk all day long, I would really kind of be less focused because I was just looking at the clock. I was ready to go home, ready to be with my wife, ready to not be stuck in those walls of that place. Like that's really what I was thinking about all the time, or what adventure I was going to go on, or whatever. Like now,
I know.
I work because I want to. I work when I have the work. If there's times like there's been a few Friday afternoons where I'm caught up on things, and I'm like, you know what? What am I doing sitting in my office? My son's out there playing baseball in the yard. Like I'm gonna go play with him in the yard. Like my quality of life has improved so much.
It's so much different.
I could never do that. You couldn't do that. Like,
no.
I remember having you guys, like, I used to really feel personally convicted about this, where, like, people that would have families and have young children at home. And it would be, you guys would come in at 7 and we'd be working till 6 p.m. at night. And then they'd be like, oh, we're getting pizza for you if you stay till 8.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like, you guys have been here since 7 in the morning. You're going to work till 8 o'clock at night for some pizza.
Yeah, right. And then you don't stop at 8 because you get a call and it goes somewhere. And now all of a sudden it's 9:30 and you're like.
For what? You took all that time away from your family for what?
Yeah.
There's a guy that's still at He actually has moved his way up dramatically, like great for him. But I remember when he was in Aces, he had a baby at home and was working those kind of hours, 12, 13, 14 hours a day. And yes, like, I respect the fact that, I took this out, was, motivated and doing it for his family and things like that. But at the same token, was that worth it? Like, you look how fast your kids have grown up.
Yeah.
You're never getting that time back.
Right.
Those first 5 years, like, that's such a pivotal time in your children's lives, and it goes so fast. It goes so fast.
Yeah, there's like, you couldn't pay me to work those hours.
And there's times that I do.
Yeah,
but I tell my family and what's going on, and it's not going to stay like that. But if I have a big influx of business, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it done and do it as fast as possible, and give the best service. So there are times that I have to work like that and work on the weekends and
weekends for sure. But there's not like months on end where you're working from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m.
Nope.
And away from your family, like you're secluded. We were tied to our desk. Like
you remember how I could put you in available?
Yes.
I remember, like, you guys would try to go to the bathroom and I would put you in, or you would, because I was getting pressure as a manager. Like, I had to, like, have you available taking calls.
Right.
So, like, I'd put you in available. Sometimes I did it just for fun.
Right. But a lot of times you did it just for fun.
Yeah, you'd be sitting there working on a deal and be like, dump them in. Yeah. And then your phone would ring again.
Yeah. And if you miss the call, Your
you had to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So that
Call
was
dropped?
funny.
Why would you have any call? Like, why would you have a dropped call?
But you know,
I was in the
honestly,
bathroom and Pete made me available.
those things though, honestly, I did it more so just because it was such a mundane job. You had to make it fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had to do things to make it funny and laugh and enjoy it. Remember, I'd make you guys do push-ups and
Oh yeah.
burpees and all sorts of stuff just because it was like, I knew you were grinding, you know, so we might as well make it fun.
Yeah. Yeah. There were times though, it'd be like Thursday, Friday. I'd go over to your desk, be like, "Hey Pete, I'm trying to work this out." You'd be like, "Oh yeah, cool. That sounds awesome. Look at this. I'm going hiking here this weekend."
Yeah. Oh, I was already thinking about that on Thursday for
Yeah.
sure. But I mean, again, like if you're not passionate about something, like I love doing mortgages, but I did not like that environment of doing mortgages
Yeah.
for all the things we talked about. Like you know, the reality was, did I hear people doing things that were not the most ethical things? Yes, I heard it, and it bothers me.
Yeah.
You know, did I like the fact that, you know, you build a business around buying leads from places where you know that the people were tricked? No, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't, you know, so at the end of the day, like I kind of had a very negative opinion towards the people that were doing that stuff. And it was mainly the company. The company does it,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, that's how the whole business model is.
Yeah. You got these big names that if a consumer realized that the bigger their name is, the more that they're paying, they would probably have a different feeling about it.
Yeah.
But if you're sponsoring a baseball stadium, or if you have arenas named after you, we even see it in the wholesale side.
Yeah.
The ones that have that stuff, they're not the cheapest.
No, and that's a good point because the cheapest is not always the best, though.
Yeah, not always, but
Like,
sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes a difference between buying a house and not buying a house.
True.
You know, but are there circumstances where you go with that lender because you know they can get the job done faster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, and is that better for the client? Yeah.
Yeah. They might be on the time crunch, short close of escrow. Like, there are a lot of reasons to use those.
Yeah, and I've gotten deals under contract for purchases merely for the fact that we could close fast.
Yeah.
You know, the listing agent had other offers. Actually, I just got one last week for that. They had multiple offers, but I personally called the listing agent, told them that I vetted everything about the client, had all their documentation reviewed. I also let them know that I could close in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they had other offers, and that agent talked to our buyer's agent, said, listen, between talking to Pete and hearing him, and I just felt so comfortable with him and the fact that he closed quick, we even though your offer wasn't the best, that's the one we're going with.
Yeah. That's that FHA loan you're doing? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. And that was an FHA instead of a conventional too.
Yeah.
So, you know, the seller could have easily chosen somebody that was doing a conventional over it. So, you know, it matters, like doing things the right way and having the best options at your disposal matters.
Right.
You know, when you work at the call center, you have their products.
One option.
There's no option.
Yeah.
This is what I have.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like literally we can listen to the client situation and then find the lender that is going to be the best fit.
Right.
For them.
Exactly. And then explain to them the process too.
Right.
Before, I don't feel like I was educating people at all. I was just going through and hurry up, close the deal, hurry up.
Yeah, and how long was the loan going to take to close?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't matter because once I locked the loan and sent it into processing, I never talked to them again, ever. Like, it was.
And if you did, it was because they called you complaining.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it was like you're now at the mercy of the processors. They have 100 loans in their pipeline that, you know, they just
a conveyor belt.
And they're emailing the client, you need to send this, that, and the other. And then when the client calls them with a question, they don't answer it. Nobody gets back to them. Yeah. You know, it was really a terrible experience.
Yeah. I can't imagine buying a house and you're already stressed.
Yeah.
And now you're going through this process. You're like, what? I can't get a hold of anybody. I don't know what they're asking for.
And you're not getting a great deal from this.
Yeah.
So you're going through all of that. You're on the conveyor belt, and you're paying a lot more than you would by going to a broker.
Yeah.
Who's going to close your loan faster and give you personalized service that you can call. Like we get phone calls all the time. Yeah, weekends, evenings, text messages. Like, and if they want to know what's going on, I'm the one who's doing it.
Exactly.
So I can actually tell them, okay, I'm doing this, that, and the other. I need this. And once I have this, then I'm going to resubmit for final approval, and boom.
Yeah. And what's cool is now instead of, because like we said, we worked those hours at a call center and it was awful. But now, like you said, we might work those hours here and there. Somebody calls at night. It's completely different because I can be here, take a phone call, answer the question, input the information, update the loan, whatever I have to do. I can do it from anywhere.
Right.
Versus just having to be stuck at my desk, living this crazy life.
Yeah, and if your wife needs you to go pick up something for her, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, if your kids you need to get your kids from early release 7 days a week or 5 days a week, every day's early release, you can go pick them up.
Yep.
You know, so it's like there's no comparison. You know, to the consumer, there's no comparison. The price that they pay, the level of service that they get, there's no comparison.
No.
You know, but are we advertising on Lower My Bills and Free Rate Update and Lend Go and Lending Tree and all these ones that are showing these ads? Like I saw this morning on my Facebook, which now I like to comment under them and tell people that they're not telling the truth.
Yeah.
But like Lend Go was putting, rates have fallen off a cliff. They're at 4.69. Like, what are you smoking? Like, they're not even close to that.
Yeah, APR is 8%.
Yeah, but you actually click on the fine print. It's a 15-year loan, and it has 3 points on it.
Yeah. Like,
no one's doing that loan.
No.
So you have somebody who's at 6 or 7 who recently bought their home. They see this ad at 4.69, and they click on it.
Yeah.
And then they click on it, and they're going to get bombarded with phone calls because LendGo sells it to 20 different loan officers.
Yeah.
And they're all calling. And what do you have to do to stand out? You got to quote the lowest rate. Don't tell them about the fees. You know, make things up, and that's the way you get your business. You know, and it's like it's such a dirty game.
It is.
But you know, people like us that you have your past clients, you're also fighting to keep them because when they're seeing those ads too. So, you know, even if you build trust and rapport with them. Like I have that oftentimes where a client will be like, oh, I saw this ad and, you know, it's on my phone. The rates are, 4% or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're immediately combating that. And you go, okay, well, no, they're not. And I always bring them to mortgagenewsdaily.com.
Oh, yeah.
Because at least on there, they show it. Granted, it's a top tier scenario, but it shows what average rates are being locked with lenders across the country that meet like kind of the low point, low fee, top tier scenario. They're not a rate that they're quoting with 3 points on it. And then I can tell you, okay, these are the averages. This is where lenders are nationwide. So if you see something that's out of the ordinary, if it's showing that the average rate is 6.3 and you see something at 4.6, you know that that's BS.
Right.
It's not possible. And especially being wholesale now, I find it really amusing that like some of these lenders, I can look at their rate and I can compare it wholesale and I see what they're doing. They're advertising not only a rate with multiple points, but they're advertising it with no commission built in.
Oh, yeah.
Which they're not doing it for free.
Exactly.
So they're just taking the raw price of it, advertising that again so they can get clicks, and then they're going to bait and switch you after.
I know. I felt so guilty the entire time I was doing that. It was hard.
Yeah, and you weren't even lying to them. You just knew that you weren't
working. Get a better deal?
Yeah, you get a better deal somewhere else. Yeah, that's why I didn't do friends or family loans.
I know.
Now I love doing friends or family because I can truly feel confident that they're getting the best deal that's
blow it out of the water.
Yeah.
And also still be able to make money on it.
I make money I'm happy with, and I know that they're not going to get that deal anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I feel great about that.
Exactly.
And, if I can close their loan and, refi in a week, and like they didn't have any hassle, that I feel great about that.
Exactly.
You know?
Hey, you want to trade me sides? I forgot my sunglasses.
Sure.
And I'm blind. The sun is shining
You
off
want
the
to use
water.
the blippy pole since you can't seem
Having
to get yours
issues?
figured out?
No. I don't want to catch all the fish. I'm going to leave some for you. All right, I guess I'll catch one.
Yeah, so on that same note, recently, actually I saw on LinkedIn that a bunch of guys that we used to work with in the past, that you know, and I know, they're at a company now that was being named on this story online, where basically it was uncovered via proof in an email that one of the top loan officers at this place was promising people that when they did a refinance that they would skip 4 payments.
4 payments?
Yeah, 4
Wow.
payments. So then you dig into the email. So first, in the first sentence of it, it says, oh, you're going to be able to skip 4 payments, blah, blah, blah. And then as you read on, it was basically saying that you would skip 2 payments with this refinance. And then in 6 months, I'm going to refinance you again.
Oh, thanks.
And you're going to skip 2 more payments. So several things wrong with that. First of all, how do you know you can refinance in 6 months? You don't know what the rates are going to be. So how do you know that you're going to even be able to do that? And would it benefit them? It makes sense for them and everything else. Like,
it already doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And then second of all, if it's a government loan, FHA or VA, you have to wait 210 days from the first payment. That's 7 months. So that's 7 months from the first payment, which the first payment normally doesn't happen for 30 to 45 days from when you close.
Yeah.
So really, you're waiting 9 months from when you get your loan to when you could do it. So again, it's like, how do you phrase these things? You're just going to say whatever it takes to get somebody to do the deal with you. And like, these are semantics, all of the little truth things that go with it. Like, I don't need to know that.
No. Yeah.
And if you tell them the truth with it, then the next person who says that you're going to skip 4 payments this year,
all right,
then they're getting the deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. 4 payments. Yeah, those are not the kind of headlines I want to be part of.
No, I was actually pretty stoked that this guy had uncovered this and was putting it out there.
How did they find out about this anyway? Whistleblower or what?
Yeah. Got to hold on to the camera here. We got some waves coming through. Yes, I guess a whistleblower who had left that company got hold of that email and then sent that to the reporter. And you don't normally you hear about all the things that people do, but you don't normally have it in writing.
Yeah.
But to have it in writing, then it's like it's irrefutable at that point, But the saddest part about it is like probably was a veteran.
Yeah.
Because that's that company, they mainly do VA. So like they're the same people that will say, oh, well, we appreciate your service. Thank you for your service to our country. We value veterans so much. Like, and then they do that.
Yeah. Really taking care of them.
Yeah, it's just so scummy. Like, again, you're basically thanking them for their service because you're playing on their emotions. You don't actually mean it.
Yeah.
And then, now you're going to really just kind of take advantage of them and their lack of knowledge and understanding so you can make money.
Yeah. And not a lot either. Like,
they're making pretty good money.
Per loan, is it worth it to take advantage of somebody? Just be honest. Tell the truth.
Well, when that person I saw was doing like over $5 million you did last month.
$5 million.
$5 million. Yeah, and making over 1% per deal.
That's how much he's...
Yeah.
It's not tiered like you used to?
No, they're making 1.5, like 1 to 1.5-ish, that range.
Oh, wow.
So, that guy probably made 75 grand in a month. So pretty motivating to be a dirtbag,
I guess so.
And the leadership at that place doesn't do anything about it. They know that that stuff's happening.
Is that what they teach?
I wouldn't say they teach it, but they just turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of like when we were that, you know, the top guys could get away with a lot.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like you did something, you get fired.
Right.
You know? And make an example out of you and keep the top guy, you know. Because they need that. They needed that top guy. And all places do. You need that 1 or 2 or 10 guys that are doing $5 million, because then you can recruit and tell other guys, look, this guy's making 75 grand this month.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
If everybody's doing 2 mil and, you know, making 20, 30 grand, then it's like you're not going to recruit those top people.
Right.
But the, you know, flip side of that is like that person who's doing that, chances are, is scumbagging people. And then they learn, the new recruit comes in and goes, you can get away with this here.
Yeah, that's grimy.
They're scumbaging people. There's so many in our business that do that. Like they'll find every little loophole to be dishonest.
Yeah.
You know, because it gives you an edge. Like, you know, structuring a loan with where they don't order the appraisal right up front, or they don't lock the loan right up front is their move. So they don't lock the loan right up front. Then they'll juice up the appraised value, which makes the loan to value lower, makes their quote look better.
Yeah.
And then once the appraisal comes in, it's, Brandon, your appraisal came in lower than expected, and then here's your rate.
Yeah.
And by then you already paid for the appraisal.
Right. You're locked in.
Yeah, you've been in process for 30 days. Hey, bird, what are you doing over here? You know, and it's like, you know, you're probably going to close the loan.
Yeah.
We got a visitor. You know, and that kind of stuff is like, can you do it? Can you get away with it? Yeah, you can. Do I have respect for those people? None.
Not even
I don't
a little.
have respect for those people. You don't have to do that. Like, why don't you actually tell them the truth when you're initially structuring the loan? You use tools like Redfin and Zillow and home value estimators, and you look at it and you talk to them about it. Say, this is what it shows for your house.
Uh-huh.
If they say no, it's worth, you know, X and it's more, then at least you had the conversation with them and you use what they think it's worth. And
right.
If it comes in lower, then
it's on them.
Yeah, it's on them.
And it's not like we manipulated it.
Yep. If you manipulate it for the purpose of getting a rate that you know that they're not going to end up getting at the end of the day, that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Again, like, would you do that to your grandma? Would you bait and switch your grandma, or would you just tell her the truth up front?
Right.
Grandma, this is what would happen if the appraisal comes in lower. So are you sure you want to do this? Or just so you know, if it does come in at what Zillow shows, then it's going to make your rate this. Is that cool?
Yeah.
You know, and then you tell them, and then if they want to do it, great. Like, that's legit. Because that's what it would be. Like, whatever it appraises for, that's what it is. Like, so you might as well have the truthful conversation with them up front.
Right.
You can't tell me a consumer feels happy about the loan they're doing when their rate goes from, you know, some low thing they were quoted to much higher.
Yeah.
They're not going to be happy with that.
No. Yeah.
They're going to feel taken advantage of. And they were taken advantage of.
Exactly. But then you also have those people who you ask them the value of their home. They're like, well, we just did a bunch of landscaping and all these different things. So I think it's probably worth at least $100,000 more.
Okay. Like, then let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let me explain to you how landscaping doesn't affect your appraisal.
Yeah.
Like that.
And, you know, if you have the conversation with them and you tell them what happens if it comes in lower, then so be it. Like, that, there's nothing unethical about that.
Right.
What's unethical is if you don't tell them that and you juice it up,
right,
knowing that it's making the deal look better, then that's what's unethical.
Yep.
You know, I remember doing some of those refis where, you know, it would be a situation like that where the customer told me something, and, you know, in the back of your mind, sometimes, you know, if it comes in low, there's no deal.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing will blow up. And I remember having a hard time sleeping at night sometimes on certain ones. I was so nervous for their appraisal.
Yeah.
Because even though it wouldn't have been my fault,
Yeah.
I would feel terrible.
Right. You're still emotionally invested in this person.
Yeah, like I don't want that to happen to anybody.
No.
Like you're spending $600 on an appraisal. Like I don't want that to happen. You know, so I don't respect the vast majority in our business. I really don't. But one thing that I've learned so much, and in going out to UWM in Michigan, one of the things that's really cool is that you get to meet loan officers from all over the country. And especially with brokers, because we're independent, you realize that there are so many ways you can do your business.
Oh, yeah.
You can have a niche, and that could be what you focus on, and be completely different than somebody else. And you can both be very successful.
Yeah.
You have some that do reverse mortgages. You have some that do purchases, some that work with realtors, some that generate their own leads, some that work refis, some that do, investments. Yeah, DSCRs. Like there's so many ways that you can do your business.
Yeah. I love DSCR. That's like my favorite loan to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great product, but you also have a niche with those types of borrowers, and investors. They tend to be repeat clients for you.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't have to be a scumbag.
No. You have to be the opposite of that. You just have to be able to show people. That's the biggest thing that I love about what we do now, is being able to educate people. Like throughout the process, keep them updated on every single aspect of the mortgage so they understand, why does it take 30 days to close my loan? I mean, it doesn't have to, but they don't think about the title, the appraisal,
right,
all these different things and the time that goes with it.
Right.
And so educating them about the process, educating them about the market. Like I had a HELOC and then the Fed cut rates. He's like, wait, let's take a look at it. Did rates come down? I'm like, actually, I got to keep this Housing Wire article ready to send out. I'm like, read this, and then let's jump on a call here in like 30 minutes.
Right.
Then explain to them, like, mortgages are actually tied to the bond market. They're not. When the Fed cuts rate, we've already accounted for that a month in advance. Like we know that that's coming. Mortgages follow headlines. Versus
to consumers, though, that makes no sense whatsoever.
I know. Yeah. So that's where, but being able to educate them instead of, again, like just having a 30-minute conversation, moving the file to processing, and then being done with it.
Yeah.
Like now, every step of the way, I'm a resource, and that's way more valuable than anything.
But you're not a one-trick pony either.
No.
Like if you work at a call center, you're a one-trick pony. Yeah. You do refis. That's it.
I know.
And to be fair, a call center is not a place to do a purchase. Like everybody from the processors to the underwriters to the loan officers, they're good at one thing.
Yeah.
And if you throw a purchase in there, I don't even think when we were, I would even let you guys do
I did
a purchase.
One.
Did you?
When I was on another team.
Well, once you got out of it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you're no way equipped to do that.
But I had no clue what I was doing. And my manager at the time had no clue. He was like, I got a purchase lead. Like, what am I doing? He's like, it's the same as a refi. I'm like, nah.
Not even close.
I got in there like setting it up. Then the realtor started calling my my direct line, asking for like the pre-approval and all these things. I'm like, somebody help.
That?
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time. Like now that like if you're going up against another loan officer and they're from, one of these big call centers, it's, if you don't get that deal, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to tell that agent that like you're not, they're working, 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 or whatever it is, Monday through Friday. You're going to call into the queue to get them on the phone. You don't know if that person actually knows how to do purchases or if they've just done, a pipeline of 99 refis and they have one purchase in there. Because I remember processors at the, Loan Depot, for instance, they would cherry pick out loans that are easier because they got commission too, based on how many loans they close. So are you going to work on a purchase or are you going to work on a streamlined refi that's going to be able to close faster? And that's how you make your money.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Like, I would probably do that too.
Right.
So it's like, you can't really go to a place like that and look for a purchase.
I mean, there's so many factors there too. Like, are you going to close on time? Are you going to be able to contact the loan officer? Like, if there's a change, are they going to know what to do? Like, there's just so many different variables that go into a purchase.
That's like credit union and bank, same thing.
Yeah.
Like, because those people don't have to be licensed.
Yeah.
So like at the credit union, you go get your loan. Yeah, they got a really low rate, but they're open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday only. And the person who you got your loan application set up with also opens checking and savings accounts.
Yeah.
And does CDs.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I'll call you back, Brandon. I'm opening a checking account.
Yeah.
You're like, that's not the expertise that someone needs when they're buying a house.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
such a difference, you know, when you have a true liaison, someone that you can trust that has the background, knowledge, experience, and they're going to work with your real estate agent closely, you know, throughout the process. Like, you're going to have such a better experience.
Right. Yeah. It's like one of those things, though, you don't know unless somebody tells you. Like, if you're going to buy a house and your dad bought a house and he's like, I did it through the credit union, you got to go do it through the credit union.
Right.
That's all you know. Like,
yeah. Yep.
it's kind of crazy.
And they have, let's be honest, like a lot of the banks and the credit unions have really low rates.
Yeah.
They do. But again, like the loan officers there are the least experienced in the business, because if you were experienced, you wouldn't work there.
Right.
You know, and the hours that they work, like when in real estate, like does a real estate agent want to contact you 9 to 5 Monday through Friday? Like they call you on the weekends and the evenings when your clients are shopping and having questions and like.
Exactly. I've always wondered about that. Like,
I mean, it doesn't work.
How are banking hours the same hours that everybody else is working?
Right.
How can they get anything done?
Well, because you have to now adjust your schedule to go to the bank.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw my bank, actually, when I was getting the money to buy this boat, I needed to get a cashier's check. And I went on a Friday at 4:00 and they closed. They were closed at 4:00 on Friday. So, and then I was like, okay, I'll have to get it tomorrow on Saturday, because that's the day I was actually going to get the boat. And I look online and they weren't open. And I had to go to a different Bank of America branch that was open on Saturdays, and their hours were like 10 to 2 on Saturday or something like that. I'm like, wow, how do you work till 4:00 during the week and then closed on the weekend?
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't get it. But, you know, like you said, there's just, you know, in our business, there's so many different ways that you could do it. And, you know, I'm just so grateful that we finally saw the light.
It took me a long time to see it.
Yeah.
You were trying to convince me for a year.
Yeah, I mean, because I was fearful, just like you were, that, you know, you hear all the things that the, you know, big lenders tell you, that, you know, you're not going to have control over the process, that you're not going to be able to work with the underwriters, that you, you know, you don't know what you're going to get from the different lenders and blah, 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 which, man, none of that's true.
No.
Like,
but there are some times where there might be a lender that you've never used.
Sure.
And you decide to give them a chance, and their process is completely different than another lender. And so now you're kind of in a pickle because you were anticipating something else. Yeah,
you know, but those things, like, a lot of that, though, can be alleviated with phone calls to the lender ahead of time. Before you send them a deal, are you interviewing them?
Yeah.
Are you finding out what's your turn times? Like, what's the expectation? Because if you deal with someone like UWM, that you get your loan approved in 2 hours.
Right.
You can't assume that someone else is going to do that. So, but at the same token, like what I was saying, is like a lot of these lenders, the underwriters literally call you after the approval and they go through it with you.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, you're talking to them on the phone, and like UWM, they give you their number. You can call them anytime you have a question.
Right. And
you
they
give
always
them the loan
answer.
number, they always answer it. Or they have a backup person to answer the phone. So you can say, okay, I have questions about this. Remember, they would have the blackout times where you weren't even allowed to call the processors?
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to email them?
Yeah.
So you had a client call you who's upset or is asking questions like, hey, it's been 45 days. When are we closing?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to contact your processor right now.
Yeah.
And then you'd have, how many complaints did you have? Well, I've called them 5 times and they haven't called me back. And there's nothing you can do about it.
I don't even know this
You're
processor.
just like a punching bag, taking it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what those places are.
Yeah.
You know, now we literally, as the broker, are the client of the lender.
Right.
So if the service isn't there, we can pull the loan and take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you make nothing. So like I have a one and done policy that like if a lender does something that I don't like, I'll never send them another deal.
Yeah.
Or I'll pull the one that I got there. So, you know, because my reputation is on the line with my client, and I'm not going to ever let that be ruined because of what a lender is doing.
Exactly.
Because I have way too many options.
Yeah. Yeah. We have over 180 different lenders.
Yeah, there's so many. I can be like, okay, you know what? If you're going to take 5 days to review a loan, I'm like, no, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so a lot of it's on us, you know, to really vet the lenders we're going to, build a relationship with them.
But it is kind of trial and error, though. Like up front, you don't know everything. And even in conversation, they might tell you one thing and then the process is a little different. Like you have to be able to go through each one and figure out what's good about them, what's bad, what works, what doesn't. And that's what I like, is being able to have those options and be able to figure out, you know, for this exact loan type, I love to go here. For this one, I'm always going to take it here.
Right.
Like each one, it's kind of like every loan officer. Like you might have your niche where these are the types of loans you do. They're same thing with these lenders.
Yeah, and I mean they have their niches with, you know, some like the low credit scores, some like only VAs, some like FHAs, some like the investment properties.
Yeah,
you know,
it's and government loans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll never go back.
Yeah, they burned me. I like the people there, but the process was really rough and rough for my clients. So, am I going to put somebody through that?
Yeah.
No, I have other choices. Like, I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I mean, I really feel more in control than I've ever been in mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, I really get to facilitate the whole process.
Yeah.
You know, to make sure it's going to be held up to my standard.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Well, you want to move to an efficient spot?
Should we?
Yeah, let's go to
go
another
check it
spot.
out.
All right.
Anchors up.
Anchors up.